The auto industry just witnessed something extraordinary. A legendary car brand basically saying they're fine, with losing 85% of their existing customers. That's like a restaurant deciding to completely change their menu and telling their regulars they probably won't come back.
You're talking about Jaguar's radical transformation, right? The way they're handling this is unprecedented in automotive history.
Exactly. And what makes this particularly fascinating is how it's playing out through their leadership. The recent departure of Gerry McGovern was just the opening act. Now all eyes are on Rawdon Glover, who's basically been handed the task of selling someone else's controversial vision.
Well, what strikes me is how Glover isn't exactly hiding from the controversy. He's been taking their concept car on this ambitious world tour: Tokyo, Munich, London, Monaco.
That's right, and here's where it gets really interesting. While he's globe-trotting with this controversial new design, Jaguar's sales have plummeted to just 33,000 units in 2024. I mean, those numbers would make any executive nervous.
And let's talk about that 85% customer loss prediction. I've never heard an executive openly admit they're planning to alienate that many existing customers. What's the strategy behind such a bold move?
Well, it seems they're betting everything on attracting an entirely different type of customer. They're essentially trying to transform Jaguar from a traditional luxury brand into this ultra-luxury EV maker. It's like trying to turn Marriott into Ritz-Carlton overnight.
That transformation started under former CEO Thierry Bolloré in 2021, right? So Glover inherited this strategy when he became managing director in 2023.
Precisely, and that timing might actually work in his favor. He can always point out that he didn't architect this transformation. He's just the messenger trying to make it work. But here's where things get complicated. They've got this new CEO, PB Balaji, who comes from a financial background.
And Balaji's known for focusing on financial discipline and operational efficiency, isn't he? That must create some interesting dynamics.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine being a numbers-focused CEO walking into a situation where your brand is deliberately planning to lose most of its customers while betting big on a market segment that doesn't really exist yet. Plus, they've already had to push back their timeline. The production version reveal has been delayed to 2026.
You know what's fascinating about this whole situation? The way Glover has responded to criticism. He actually condemned what he called the level of vile hatred and intolerance from commenters.
That's such a departure from typical executive behavior. Usually, when sales are dropping and timelines are slipping, executives try to be more conciliatory. But Glover's taking this principled stand, which is admirable but potentially risky.
Speaking of risks, their focus on the US market seems particularly challenging right now, doesn't it?
That's another layer of complexity here. The political environment around EVs in the US has become increasingly hostile. They're essentially betting their future on a market that might not be ready for what they're selling. It's like opening a high-end vegan restaurant in a town famous for its steakhouses.
Well, that makes me wonder about the broader industry context. How are other luxury automakers handling this transition to EVs?
Most are taking a much more gradual approach. They're maintaining hybrid options, keeping their existing customer base happy while slowly introducing electric vehicles. Jaguar's strategy is more like jumping off a cliff and building the airplane on the way down.
That's quite a vivid image. But what happens if this strategy doesn't work? What are Glover's options?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Everything seems to be hanging on the Type 01 production car reveal in 2026. If it's well received, all this controversy becomes a footnote. But if it fails, well, we've seen how quickly things can change in this industry.
And there's no real precedent for this kind of transformation, is there? I mean, other luxury brands have evolved, but not quite like this.
No, this is truly uncharted territory. The closest parallel might be when Volvo announced they were going all electric. But even they didn't deliberately plan to alienate their existing customer base. They're trying to bring their customers along on the journey.
So what do you think the next few months might look like for Glover and Jaguar?
Well, I think we're going to see one of three scenarios play out. Either Balaji gives this strategy more time and Glover starts showing some positive results, or we see a major strategic pivot, which would probably mean the end of Glover's tenure. Or, and this might be the most interesting possibility, they find some middle ground that preserves the essence of this transformation while making it less radical.
That middle ground would be quite a challenge to find, though, wouldn't it? They've been so adamant about this ultra-luxury EV-only future.
Exactly, and that's what makes this situation so fascinating. It's not just about cars or executives or sales numbers. It's about the fundamental challenge of trying to reinvent something people love, while knowing you might lose everything in the process.
You know, when you put it that way, it really highlights the human element of all this. Glover must be under enormous pressure.
Indeed, and that's really the heart of this story. It's about making massive decisions under uncertainty, knowing that your choices could either save or sink a historic brand. And whatever happens, this will definitely be a chapter in automotive history that people will be studying for years to come.
Well, I suppose we'll just have to wait and see how it all unfolds. But it's certainly going to be interesting to watch.
And that's what makes this such a compelling story. It's not just about the fate of one executive or one car company. It's about the broader questions of how to navigate massive change in an industry that's facing unprecedented disruption. Whether Glover succeeds or fails, his experience is going to provide valuable lessons for anyone trying to transform a legacy brand in the modern era.
Well, it sounds to me that Mr. Glover has best keep his resume updated.
This has been a production by Curious Jag. Please like and subscribe.